What it is?
What it do?
It's your girl L.
It's your boy
And
Drew.
we are back with another
banging ass reaction. Y'all know how we do when we come down repping that H-Time. Know what I'm talking about.
Straight up.
Real talk.
All right, so we're gonna start reacting to like some real life current events that are going on, because it be like some real stuff that we be needing to touch on sometimes and talk about. But what the first video that we're gonna talk about is the mother and daughter, Trinity and Navy.
It was a mother and daughter?
Yeah, it was it's actually a mother, the daughter, the boyfriend, and the boyfriend's son that was involved in the drowning. So this happened in an area near where it was a beach in Destin, Florida, and unfortunately the mom and the I don't know if it's a husband, boyfriend, they got caught in a riptide, basically. And y'all know how riptides are. If you don't, I really suggest looking up some videos on TikTok, looking up some videos on YouTube to see what a riptide is. A lot of people have no idea what a riptide is, and they go to the beach and get in the water, or allow their kids to get in the water.
Those are far out, right?
No.
They can be close?
Yes, you finna see.
Oh.
They was in a riptide and they was able to stand up in the water, and as soon as they lifted their feet, it took them.
Oh no, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was that strong. So anyway, we're gonna get into it, but the details were, I know for sure somebody said that the part of the beach they were at is where the bay meets the ocean, or the bay meets the beach, or something like that. So the current was like real strong.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna react to it and just kind of see the actual side of view or perspective of the boyfriend, husband. I'm not sure if they're married or not. We're gonna see their perspective and see what he has to say, what he experienced, what he saw. All right, because you know how people can speculate and lie and say, oh, they didn't try to do it. Oh, they shouldn't have let, we gonna hear the real story. Before we get into that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
That's very important.
Tap that notification bell, and everybody I'll wait till
Turn over the next up, because we're the best.
And that's on Indie.
And them big facts.
All right, let's get into it. And this is coming directly from TikTok, y'all.
Some more clarity on where we were at. So we were at, the locals know, we were at the place called East Jetties. And for those of you who don't know what a jetty is, it's where the ocean and a lake, basically, to put it in simple terms, that's where they connect, okay? And so a jetty is it's the jetty that we were at. It was maybe about 3 football fields away from the actual ocean, okay? And so what a jetty is, they pile these great big old gigantic boulders up for like 400 or 500 feet out into the water. They pile them up, and what it does, it cancels any waves from the inlet. It's a shallow place. You have no waves. Kids, families, teenagers, preteens, young kids, they're all out, inside that jetty. It's calm waters.
Now, it sounds, based off of how he's explaining it versus the video, because there's a video basically, and it didn't look as though that was necessarily true, like the waters were calm. I don't know, hopefully those weren't the same 2 people, but it just, I don't know how true that is. Obviously it wasn't as calm as, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, a riptide does not look calm.
Yeah.
A riptide is not waves.
Right.
You won't see the waves. We went to Miami, and there was that one section that was roped off, and he was like, hey, y'all can't go in there.
Oh, yeah.
So that one part of the beach, there were no waves. But right on the other side of where the ropes were was waves. That was the riptide in the middle. He basically was saving us. So,
and the entire day. So we got there at 3:40. So and I know this because our parking time expired at 7:40. All right, guys. So we got there at 3:40. We were out there for 3.5 hours.
So noted, it was getting late. You know what happens when it gets late? The tide comes in.
Yeah, it's cooler, like the temperature dropping.
The tide comes in, the waves get stronger. So
when nothing unusual. So the places that we were going, everyone else was going also. A lot of you was questioning like why no one had on life jackets. 95% of the people out there, nobody had life jackets. It's a jetty. It's basically a kid pool that we were at.
No. That perception right there is what screws a lot of people up.
Because 95% of the people that have on, that don't make sense.
No, he's saying it's basically a kid pool.
It don't
It's
matter,
not
though.
a pool. Y'all, the ocean and the beach and the lake is not a pool. Do not consider that as a pool. If you want to go swim freely, go get in the pool, y'all. Not the beach. When we go to Galveston, we tell our kids sit right there in the sand.
Yeah.
You can sit where the water can brush up on you, but sit in the sand.
Yeah, for real though.
Y'all not even, because we had an experience where they were close to a shark before.
Yeah, that was crazy.
After that, oh no, let alone a riptide. It's wildlife in the water.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we weren't doing anything unusual. We were just snorkeling,
We hungry, y'all. Sorry.
looking at fish, looking at crab, like we did at Shell Island. So, once again, for some of you who are just logging on, the boat rental was in Panama City Beach, which is like an hour and 15 minutes away from where we were at. So the boat rental was only in Panama City Beach. Turned the boat in. We drove to Destin. All right. So the life jackets that we did have were on that boat that was property of the boat rental place. All right. But back to Destin, we were doing normal things. You know, the kids, the smaller kids in the most shallow part, the preteens like Trent and my oldest son, who's the same age as Trent, 10 years old. You know,
10
they're more
years old.
adventurous. They'll go out into, you know, where the water get to their chest. And so that's what we were doing all day. And then of course the adults and boats and stuff are farther out also. And man, y'all, we've been taking so many videos. I'm not gonna get off.
Okay, the water. I'm not judging him because I listened to. He is a good guy, great guy. Both they seem like great parents. Took their kids on a vacation to have a good time. So please don't take me as judging him as a person. What I'm trying to say is the water at their chest is a problem for me. Because they're kids. So if something happens, it's harder for them to push up and swim out versus if it's at their waist.
Yeah. But it's like,
or not even at their waist, but if it's up here at a 10-year-old's
yeah.
chest,
Oh yeah, for sure. Cause
that's high.
Water is strong, especially when you're in water. Yeah, but I'm trying to understand, how did it take the mom and
hold on,
the
it's gonna get
daughter?
to it. It's gonna get to
We've
it.
been taking so many videos that can. They were beautiful video. We was filming to like make one big old, you know, recap video of what an amazing time we've had.
Like a
But
vlog.
in those videos, it'll show you like the layout, setup, how the rocks are, how the people are just out there snorkeling. Everyone just out there. But back to like I was saying, the small kids will be at the front in the shallowest part. As you get older, the older kids, you know, venture farther out, and adults and boats and stuff even further out. All right, so about 7:05 roll around. Me and Raven are on the beach, and I'm in the sand. I'm laying in the sand, playing in the sand.
Raven is the mom.
Okay.
Getting sand everywhere. Raven, she's on the little. We had the picnic blanket mat thing out there, and Raven, she was just sunbathing on it. And we were talking and all this stuff. And 7:05, 7:10 roll around. Remember, our parking pass ends at 7:40, so we were actually planning to get ready and go. And so I told Raven, like, look, it's about that time. We both in agreement. So yeah, it's about the time. Time to wrap it up. When I say that they were so beautiful, man, when we were wrapping up, I got it on video. There were some airplanes putting on a show, putting on a air show.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, everything was perfect. But so yeah, it was time to go. Like 7:05, 7:10. I get up. I say, all right, I'm about to go round up kids and wash this sand off me. because I had sand everywhere. Like I said, I was laying in it, playing in it, all this stuff. And so I go and tell the kids, hey, it's time to go. And Trent and Kingston, you know, they're older, they got questions. They were like, where you going? You know, I'm like, oh, I'm just about to walk out here, get this sand off my body.
Mm-hmm.
And so they walked as far as they were comfortable. Like I said, this was nothing out of the ordinary. Something we was doing the entire 3.5 hours that we were out there. Where they stopped, it was a spot we've already been, everyone already been. And so I was maybe about 10 feet ahead of them, you know.
I hope y'all can hear
And
good.
they were standing there just talking, nothing to alarm anybody of any danger. And me, you know, I'm dipping to get the sand off my body, you know, rubbing myself down and stuff. And I had sand in my head. So I go up to float on my back. A lot of you don't know me, but some people know that I float. That's my favorite way of swimming. I float on my back. And yeah, I float on my back. I was floating to wash the sand out of my hair. And as I was floating, like I wasn't floating to swim. I was just floating just to stay still, wash the sand out of my hair. So I wasn't paddling or anything. I wasn't stroking or anything like that. But
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it real quick. Whenever I do this too, when I get a lot of sand on me, or even when I tell the kids we got a lot of sand on, go and wash that off before we get in the car.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't tell them to go in and swim. I just say go right there at the water and, you know, splash it on you and get it off. Like you taking like a hoe bath. They call it a hoe bath. He went deep in that motherfucker because he said he was 10 feet away from his kids.
Mm-hmm.
He went deep enough in the riptide for him to be able to float on his back
That's crazy though.
to get the sand off.
Yeah.
I think this is a lesson that teaches you that the ocean, the beach, the bay, the lake, any not man-made, any nature-made body of water is not
It's
to
a
be
no-go.
treated like it's a bathtub or a pool or a hot tub.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Anything can change just like that, and you don't see it coming because you can't control it, and nobody can stop it once it starts.
after I felt that the sand was all gone out my head, I go into a doggy paddle. So if you know what a doggy paddle is, that's basically swimming on your stomach. And I look, I'm like, I'm a whole lot farther away from Trent and Kingston, a lot more farther, from them, for me to just be floating, to stay still. And so I start to, and they're still just standing there talking, looking at me, standing there talking, looking at me, standing there talking. And so I try to swim, I get back on my back, and start swimming back to them, or so I thought. And so after I felt that I swam enough to reach them, I go back into a doggy paddle, and I'm in the same position, still further away from them than what I should be. And so I asked them, like I said, all this time, there was no warning signs, no nothing up until this point. So I asked them, again, they was just looking at me and talking, just chilling. I asked them again, I was like, I was just swimming to y'all. Was I moving to you? And they was like, no, you weren't moving to us. You was just swimming in place. And so me, knowing what's going on, I didn't want anybody to panic. I said, all right, guys, look, we're gonna walk back to the beach. This is where it gets tough, eh?
So sad, man.
A lot of people who know me know that I bottle up. I'm usually not a guy to show emotion. Whew. All right. But I said, yeah, we're going to walk back to the beach. But instead of walking, both my son and Trinity, they took their feet off the ground, and they was thinking they were going to swim back to the beach. And that's where I messed up. I knew that I was in the current. I knew since I was in the current that they were in the same one, but they didn't know anything was wrong. My son, he know how to swim a little bit, and earlier in that vacation, I've actually been teaching him how to float and giving him reasons on why. I come to that later. But yeah,
And that was the best thing you could do for a child is to teach him how to swim, man. Because you teaching him how to float on his back and swim, that saved his life. Even though that saved his life.
And
Trinity didn't know how to swim at all.
that's why I be saying, like, black people especially, we learn how to swim. That's
Yeah.
a survival skill.
And not to be colorist or any type of anything, but our people usually don't. Look at
Yeah.
when we have pool parties. Our people don't get in no water.
You just want to look cute and look fly and not getting no water.
Right. It is a survival skill, y'all. We have to learn how to swim. Like, even if it may not save us completely, it gives us an opportunity at least to try.
Yeah.
yeah, they took their feet off the ground, which was their safety net. And when they took their feet off the ground, the current just flowed them to me. And me knowing my son, he had swimming lessons, I yelled at him. I said, Kingston, just float on your back. And he did just that, no hesitation. And he immediately started yelling for help. And Trin, she had her snorkel gear on. So, and I knew that Trin, she wasn't the swimmer. So my focus was on Trin. And I saw my son, he was okay. He floated on his back. I taught him. And he did just that. And so this entire time while we were fighting to save Trin, you know, that's what my son was doing, just floating on his back the entire time. But when they floated out to me, when the current brought them out to me, I knew right then and there I had to help Trin out.
So just like that, the current took them from 10 feet away to right there where he was at.
Mm-hmm.
That's how strong that shit was.
That's crazy.
And so my son, he started yelling for help. And that's what got the alarm of everybody on the beach. The people on the beach heard, and they started blowing whistles or waving towels and stuff, trying to flag boaters down. And all that time while that was going on, I'm going underwater, grabbing Trin by her legs and pushing her up, but doing it in a way to where I can conserve energy, but also keep her head above water until, you know, help arrive. And so I'm going up for air, coming down, pushing her up, go up for air, come back down, grab her legs, keep pushing her up. And like I said, I wasn't using all my energy at the time until I saw help. Her mom heard the help screams. And so, remember I said her mom was at the picnic, well, we were at the picnic table, I was in the sand, and not the picnic table, but the picnic blanket. So when I got up to go and wash the sand off my body, her mom was just walking in the shallows of the beach, you know, where the water, it'd hit your feet and then recede, hit your feet. She was just walking in the beach, you know, it was nothing to worry about. But back to where we were at, when she heard the screams and the help calls, she immediately came running and fighting through that water. And she's not the strongest swimmer, but she was the first one to get to us. And as I said, I was pushing Trin up in a way to where I can conserve my energy to not, you know, because I didn't know how long it was going to take for help to arrive. But when I saw her mom, I figured her mom was, you know, I was pushing enough to where we were, I figured I was pushing enough to where we gotten back close to the shallows. So when I saw her mom, I figured her mom was, you know, walking. And so I gave her a real big push when I saw her mom. Wasn't worried about conserving no more energy anymore. I gave her a real big push. And she actually flew past her mom. And her mom had to go get her. And immediately after I gave that big push, there was this boat that came. And I was at the front of the boat. And I saw that they grabbed my son from floating. They grabbed him out and pulled him up on the back of the boat. And I saw like this little hook to hold on to. So I was swimming to that hook, and one of the people on the boat came, and he was like, "You need help?" I was like, "No, just go get them." Mm-hmm. And so I just grabbed the hook
right there.
and just held on to the hook. But when the boat stopped, it was spinning, and then actually spent me the opposite way of from seeing what was going on.
See how strong that current was to make it spin.
Spin a boat.
My dad has a boat, and been fishing with him many times. When he stopped his boat, it don't spin.
Yeah.
Because we don't be in no current.
Yeah.
No riptide.
On the other side of the boat. And so from right now, I got to give a point of view from.
So he's saying once it spent, he couldn't see nothing that they was doing.
Yeah.
From Raven's point of view, and from like I seen like the paddle boat lady comments. And so yeah, as I was holding on to the hook, a lady on the paddleboard paddled out. And remember I said Raven was she had trend, but I thought she was on sand, and I thought she was walking, so I thought
she was swimming.
Everything was good. But Raven told me later that she actually wasn't walking, she was doggy paddling also. And so basically where I left off, she took over. And I wasn't aware that what was going on. For one, I thought she was walking and sand, and for two, I was holding on to the boat, and the boat was spinning in the opposite, spinning me away from what was going on. But those two guys that was on the boat, at first I thought they came from the beach, but from the paddleboard lady perspective, the two guys that were on the boat, they were the ones that got into the water and they grabbed Trent. Well, Raven pushed Trent to them, and they had her. And from Raven's perspective, she said, you know, I pushed Trent to him, and they had her. And there was no more struggling. Trent was, you know, we were good, you know, everything was good. And I'm guessing that the two guys thought Raven couldn't swim also, as much as Trent couldn't swim. So there was a moment right there where, not to speculate, but from perspectives, they also tried to save Raven. And from them trying to save Raven, that's when Trent slipped away. And
I know this is hard to retell this story, man. So basically, the one that couldn't swim is the one that they lost. And, you know, it just is, it's so hard because all you can do is try to save.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you don't, you have to save yourself at the same time so that everybody can live to see the next day.
Yeah.
But if you got one who cannot fight for it at all, it's hard.
Sometimes they don't know which one to save. Like,
right. And it's like, mom thought the guys had her. The guys probably thought mom had her. Or one of the guys probably thought the other guy had her. And then the other guy, the baby slipped through, you know, he couldn't get her.
Anybody can make the mistake. That's a chaotic situation.
It was too much. Like, that was that was 4 people fighting a riptide. In Galveston, I remember, I think it was like 3 or 4 kids. They all went.
Yeah.
Every single kid. No, I think it was 5 maybe. It may have been 7. But it was a family full of kids, and every single one of them went.
Yeah.
Every single one.
And still, I don't know what's going on. And finally, the boat spin all the way around to where I can see. And what I see is the paddleboard girl made it to Raven, and Raven was on the paddleboard. And I asked Raven, I said, "Where's Trent?" And she said, "I don't know." And so there were, like, again, 2 guys that were on the boat. And Raven, she explained to me later that that there was a skinny guy and there was a big guy. I actually saw when they were putting my son on the boat that there was a skinny guy and there was a big guy. So I can say that the 2 guys that jumped off the boat were the same guys that pulled my son up. But the skinnier one, he was like an older teenager. With hair maybe about 6 inches long. The bigger guy was like just an older man. Not older, he was probably like in his high 30s.
Thank God for them.
With a little buzz cut. I remember that much. But she did say the skinny one, which I perceived to be the teenager. He immediately, when he saw Trent slip away, he immediately tried to go after her. And from Raven's account, he was, coming up, going back down.
So he was looking for her.
And at the time that was happening, the bigger guy was taking the boat to the shore. And this was as soon as I asked Raven where was Trent, the boat got into motion and couldn't let go because you can get caught up under them propellers and all that stuff. But so that's what happened, and that's how she was lost. And the paddleboard lady brought Raven to the shore. And after that, that's when everything was happening so fast. It seemed like immediately there were Coast Guard and lifeguard right there searching for Trent. Like everything was going so fast. And
this happened last Thursday. They still haven't found her.
Me and Raven, we were separated, but there were police officers from different departments coming out saying, trying to get an understanding of what's going on. So we're answering different departments as they come out in different shifts. You got the Coast Guard, got to know what's going on. The local sheriff department, the local police department. I don't know if game wardens or anything was out there, but all of them have to come and get a report. And so at first, early on in the night, me and Raven was like a little separated. Well, I do know that I did go to her to get Wesley's number so I can hurry up and call him and let him know. Because she was on the phone with her mom and also talking with the officer, and I was talking with the officer. So I needed to make sure Wesley knew what was going on before, things get on the internet and just spread, and then you find out that way. That would have been terrible. But yeah, so in the midst of all of that, we're answering police officers. And then, at the time this all happened, the sun was still out. It wasn't sunset time yet. But by the time, like the third or fourth police department come out, me and Raven were closer by each other, like physically closer by each other. And that was when the first time I heard of the two guys, which later I presumed to be the two guys that were on the boat. But like when I was holding on to that boat, I thought it was just, I didn't see the two guys in the water. But from everybody's perspective, that's when Raven told the officer, she said, I was pushing her up, and then I saw the two guys, so I pushed Trent to the two guys, and she slipped away. That's when I first heard about the two guys in the water. Let me get back to the notes.
So basically, from what it's a whole bunch of shoulda, coulda, wouldas all the time, but basically, mom had her, and mom was good. Mm-hmm. Not good, but mom had her, but mom was pushing her up to where she could breathe. Okay. So she, to keep herself from going under and getting fatigued and drowning as well, because she did tell her side of the story. She said she was like swallowing a lot of water and stuff to try to keep her up. So mom wasn't good. She was fighting. Yeah. So she was trying to make sure that both of them could live, and she pushed the daughter to the men, but they didn't catch her.
I mean, if the water is strong, man. Yeah.
So. It's a riptide. Like, it's not regular. This is not Volcano Bay. This is not Typhoon, Texas. None of your water parks. It's not none of that. It's not a water park. This is a different type of beast that can't nobody, and even the people that was able to get in there and save them, you got to be trained to know how to, though. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's crazy.
But yeah, we do want to know who the two guys are that was on that boat. So if anybody know any locals down that way, I know you guys been following the story pretty closely. If you know them, message one of us. Yeah. We just want to get to know them, see who they were. Yeah. And then after that, we stuck around for a long time, and up to the point where the Coast Guard was like, it got to a point where they could do all that they could do this night because it was so dark. They ran their radar scans and their thermal scans, and so and visibility was gone because the sun had
dark,
set from how long we were out there. So we went back to the hotel. I mean, to the Airbnb. And remember, this was our last night, our final night. And so I do have to give some thank yous out. The next morning, we woke up early, and I called the owner of the Airbnb. And I explained, I had to leave a voicemail explaining what had happened. And he texted me back, and so I had to call him again. And
just let her out.
He said he's going to check his books to see if anybody booked their Airbnb, so to see if we could stay. But he called back again and said somebody got their Airbnb, y'all can stay up until 12. And he said, I'm going to pay for a 2-night stay at the hotel for you guys.
And that was like super sweet of him. I mean, I'm sure if the Airbnb was available, he would have let them stay for free until they, you know, were able to leave. And, you know, man, so they had to leave the Airbnb because somebody had booked it, but he paid for them to stay at a hotel for 2 nights. So that was a blessing. You know, I would, as an Airbnb host, that's something that would haunt me. Like these people came and paid to stay here. They came as a family and they left -1.
Yeah.
Like that's sad.
Crazy.
Like
Brian DeGormo, that's his name. So huge thank you to Brian for providing that room and board for us. He paid for it out of his pocket. He actually had to do it twice because he booked through Expedia, $540, and then like they took the money, they accepted they confirmed it. He sent us the confirmation.
Scamming.
But when we was driving there, Raven Moms were asking for the location of the hotel, so I sent her the link, and she clicked on the link and it said cancel. So I had to call Brian again and let him know that some way it got canceled. He was like, no, it didn't get canceled. They got my money. I'm looking at my bank account right now. So he actually had to pay twice. So when we made it to the hotel, we called him again, and he paid right on the spot again. And later on, he did let me know that first transaction got reversed, but still he paid for that room. Big shout out to Dreamer also. That's Raven's friend. That is the one that made the GoFundMe, guys. And I do have to explain the GoFundMe a little bit. Raven, she's a person, she really don't ask for handouts. It was very hard for her to say yes to receiving anything. Her and Dreamer, which is her friend again, had a talk, and she finally went ahead and agreed and to make that GoFundMe, because a lot of locals and a lot of people here in Arkansas was asking, what can they do to help? And besides actually being there to actually recover Trent, the only way we could ask for help was, you know, financially, to make sure Raven can be there for as long as she can until Trent is found. And so, yeah, Dreamer made the GoFundMe. A lot of people, it's just a lot of negative people out here. Well, let me take that back. It's a lot of kind-hearted and loving and hopeful people out there, but there are a few negative people out there.
What do y'all get out of having an issue with people needing help? Because a lot of people that speak on people that have GoFundMes don't be having life insurance policies, don't have health insurance, period.
Yeah.
Not even Medicaid, not even marketplace insurance, and that's cheap. So not everybody has the funds to take her in there with the kids. Not everybody has the funds to be able to afford to stay extra. And y'all know right now in Destin, this is their peak season. It's not cheap out there right now. They know they making bank off of people coming out there to Crab Island and anywhere in Florida. They making bank right now. So it's not going to be cheap for her to stay out there until they find her baby.
Yeah.
What is the problem? Like, either donate or hush. I don't get
They were
it.
questioning the GoFundMe as if, you know, someone trying to scam or anything, or, you know, it's not that.
They just lost their child.
a lot of people know how GoFundMe works. You give towards a goal that GoFundMe set, and when you come close to meeting that goal, like 95% of the goal, GoFundMe will automatically raise the goal to the next tier.
Oh.
And so
I didn't know that.
yeah, the goal started at only like 2,000, and everybody just kept giving. Like I said, there's a lot of kind-hearted people out there.
Yeah.
And people who are actually concerned and praying and standing with Raven and Wesley. And so the goal kept raising because there's people getting 500. There were a lot of people gave 500. There were people gave 200 and 300 and hundreds. And then even the smaller amounts, the 10s, the 25s and 15s, y'all got that goal that GoFundMe said.
Sorry, y'all. The dog is just not being patient. We got a kitten, so she trying to chase the cat.
Like I said, they raise it every time you get in a certain percentage of that goal. So when you get to 95% of that money collected, they raise the goal again because.
So basically, stop accusing people of being greedy because a goal starts at a certain amount and then it becomes higher. They're not asking for more money. GoFundMe is. And it's not like they can get that money right away anyway. And why do y'all care if they have to raise the goal? Do you know how much it costs to stay out there? All the fees that you got to pay. I'm pretty sure she got to book another flight or however they got down there. And just the stress of this situation, period. I saw somebody say that they found the people found their family member 3 weeks later. 3 hours away from where they were found in another city. So imagine going through that. Imagine that. I have all these different thoughts. Like, what if a shark got her? What if a shark ate her? You know, Destin is known for shark attacks.
And alligators though. Like, so.
You know, what if they got her and ate her? What if you know what I'm saying? Like, this is y'all. It's just so, when you lose, I feel like when you lose a loved one to the waters, the ocean is a scary place. It's a scary place. Like, I'm going to just stop right here because, you know, it's pretty long and we pretty much covered the gist of the story. But,
yeah,
y'all, all in all, teach everybody, learn how to swim. If you don't know how to swim, stay out the beach.
Just survival skills, period, though.
Period. Like, floating on your back. Honestly, I taught myself how to swim on my back by myself. And then another thing, I learned how to do basic swimming because I went to summer camp one time and I was embarrassed that I didn't have the swimmer's wristband. Yeah. And if I didn't have the swimmer's wristband, I had to stay in 2 feet. That's like to my ankles.
And another thing, it's important to work out. A lot of people don't like to work out because they be being lazy. Like, you need strength. You never know when you may need
agility. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it helps you be able to endure certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now, I know some people, like, I know my son, two of my sons now, they have asthma. So I know things like swimming and stuff like that will kind of be a little bit more complicated for them. Yeah. But, you know, there are things we can do to teach them how. You know, I feel like floating on your back is easier than treading waters.
Oh, yeah.
So that should be number one. But rest in peace to this beautiful baby.
Yeah, we send our condolences for sure.
Definitely send our condolences. Mom and Dad, y'all did a wonderful job.
For real.
Kingston, you did a great job floating on your back like your daddy taught you. You didn't panic. You did you panicked, but you did exactly what your daddy taught you to do. And that is why he taught you. Yeah. So, man, RIP to the baby, y'all. Make sure y'all show a lot of love to this family. If you're able to give to their GoFundMe, make sure you're able to find the correct link and give. And just pray for them. Even if you can't give monetary, just pray that they find this baby and be able to bring her home and give her a proper service.
Yeah, real talk.
So, anyway, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
That's very important.
Tap that notification bell, send everybody our way.
Tell them we're the next stuff because we're the best
stuff.
stuff.
And that's on indie game.
And them big facts.
All right, until next time.
Peace.